Hello and welcome back to 𝐒𝐸𝐚𝐿. Today we'll be continuing the episode 5 and we'll be starting from day 2, trial format. February 23rd, 9:34 AM. Defendant lobby number 2. How did investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is the one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? The defense attorney should never believe their client. The defense is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Mrs. Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. There is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you are not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without Faye helping me. He's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. To discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. February 23rd, 10 AM. Court is now in session for the trial of Mrs. Lana Sky. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is on our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, she was rash enough to comment in the prosecutor's office a lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There is a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution calls its first witness, Mrs. Angel Star, to the stand. Cough up, Queen. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered a caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. Oh, and for you, I have Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state their name and profession? And you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It's too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty, it hurts. Always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. Prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. As Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. Huh? What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Mrs. Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Mrs. Star was a detective? Ah! I know who you are. Cough up. Cough up, Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Mrs. Starr. Who is this lady? If I might have court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. Suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's places, yes? Crime took place by the car in the back of the A block. The car struck. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Inlet floor plan school. Added to the court record. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can. Then give them your worst, Mrs. Starr. Wait, are they talking about me? Witness account. Okay. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver lunchbox to my boyfriend. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garage car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. And she thrust the pointed tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend? How touching! As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Okay, let's go. Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. Lunch lady's uniform opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, the killing of a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Mrs. Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I would still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I'm a pro. As you know, my testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well. You may continue, Mrs. Starr. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. This boyfriend, he's the detective? Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. So the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot, in A block. Up on the second level, as you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I said something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective intuition at work. You sent something? You're saying you had a premonition of the murder? Felt like, how would you say? Oh yes, it was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of its seeds. No idea what that means. Speaking of the detective intuition, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. Young cheese? A pale white cheese, not a tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. Then it must be hard. Yellowed and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. In any case, there in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to the garish car. By garish car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes. Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. The person you saw, you're sure it was the defendant? Saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her. She's telling the truth. You're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. Witness, in your testimony you clearly state the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Here we go. You are a biased witness. You may want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, Rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you are willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. Fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that taglines elsewhere. Kidney, you could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph? You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap. I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. The boyfriend wants the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is not most certainly the defendant. Photo added to court record. Okay. Oh, that's unmistakably Lana Sky. So what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Press. Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I would say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It's your knife. It's your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are by nature well versed in the location of men's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for an egg salad to suppress it. You can't testify as her ability to kill an egg, I mean a person. Perhaps the chicken salad that would have been a better metaphor? So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? She thrust the pointed tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Press. Tell the court why you didn't stop this crime. You didn't see her raise a knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Fortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. Only flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Mr. Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking text to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. Somehow I always knew a day like this would happen. Okay. see what do we actually have as evidence. I guess we can check the photos again. Why is she bloody in this picture? Also, how did she see it? From what angle? Also, if she took this picture... Oh yeah, they are the grades. They are the picture. Never mind. 6S7S 12 clue. And the call 518. Died within an hour and a half of 4 PM. That should be 5:30 he died. She called it 5:18. Okay. And at 5:12 he... So she... 5:12 he parked. 5:15 it happened, right? Based on the case records, yeah. We don't know if he died after that. Then we have no prints on the... there. Does she wear gloves on the photograph? It does. Okay, that would explain no prints. Okay, let's present the evidence. Let's present this because she's already bloody on that picture. Why? This evidence clearly delivers a contradiction in the statement. How exactly evidence and the statement are just now related? They aren't, are they? Oh god, it's gonna be again another stupid contradiction, right? Okay. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Okay, let's present that photo again because she was not holding a knife in that picture. And you witnessed this? You saw Mrs. Kai stab the victim with the knife? As I've already said, yes. I swear, my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that's a fine lunch, but isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph he took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Why is Mrs. Takai not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thought? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? She has blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stains on the Chief Prosecutor's coat? It's a black and white photograph. Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem? Except you. Mr. Wright? Are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? Ah, you got a better idea? Objection! Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. Apologies. Huh? That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering jumbo salad lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but a good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Secretary Sky was cold, calculating like a robot. Killed without pain or remorse. It was premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in the photograph. Those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing these gloves. Ah! These gloves, they seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. Do they? Perhaps. What if it was just the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They're rubber gloves, of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came on the crime scene, he came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was premeditated crime. Ah. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Mrs. Starr. This is bad. She's got them all thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this, Claire, the trial's already over. I've got to think a way to show this wasn't premeditated. Only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. I said it before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Mrs. Starr's testimony is flawless. It's pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason I'm having panicking. Okay, I already heard that. Okay, what do we have? What do we know about the knife? If it was premeditated, why is she using a knife that's not hers? Makes no sense. How would she know there's a knife in the back of the car? Present the knife. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? Sell box lunches for the living, you know? That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in the Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? A bloody murder weapon. A red car, all belonging to the prosecutors there. Tell me, are prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated Lana Skye planned this murder. And that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Wow! Order! 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 Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Good show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing that the prosecution need to prove, nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you are clever now? Well, you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, I believe I would like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers for deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? And just deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife again and again and again. Okay. Victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? If I order a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Okay. Last guy intended to murder Detective Goodman. You've said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, Rookie. I believe what she just said is a mere prelude to the story she's about to tell. Trying to interrupt her again. Rookie. Never entrap a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked. Something half-baked here, alright. And it is you. Trying to confuse the defense witness. They are not very quick on their feet. But why did you believe the suspect has an intention to murder the victim? They should speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. You have no proof that Mrs. Sky called him there. You have no proof that she didn't. Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts? There's no record of a call made on the defendant Mrs. Lana's phone. She might have written him a letter. Come on, he could have tried public phone first at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office, where he was murdered. She had a reason to be there. Witnessed. Why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day? I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See? We agree there is a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree? I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. This judge isn't very good with metaphors. Suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis on thinking that? It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife again and again. Human machine? It's a contradiction. Please. Can you find a fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright? Notice so. Mr. Edgeworth's size smells like citrus fruit. Say again. How many times did she stab him exactly? We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't usually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? How come she's getting mad at me? Let's just say she stabbed him several times and we'll leave it at that. Leave it at that. This is a murder case, people. That's right. You speak up if you have an objection, you know? Mr. Starr turned out to be short-tempered as he looked when he met her. Clenching her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even more short wick burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Alaska intended to murder Detective Goodman. Yeah, that's so we are back here. We have a photo of the victim. Nothing written on the back, but that's unimportant. And we have the trophy, knife, the parking stop. And all then. But it's only one knife wound. It doesn't say multiple, so let's put that as a contradiction. Present the evidence of the case file. There was only one knife wound. You say she stabbed him again and again. You couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? I'll test you. With my most surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Mrs. Starr. Huh. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this. But take a look. Autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Ah, haha, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness. You got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now, I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Utter blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Her red muffler looked like a blood to me. That's how gaslit the whole scene was. Press. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. Where she can be easily hanged with moment notice, I suppose. She's right. Mrs. Sky was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. Charged with a bib, that's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently Mrs. Starr is entirely sure on her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? Mrs. Starr turned out to be short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. Short wig burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax. Okay, I already heard that. Does she wear the scarf in the picture? No, no scarf in the picture, okay. Okay, present the picture. Mrs. Starr. I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. You've proved it yourself with this photograph. But that can't be. Only a professional lunch lady would be so utterly clueless. Congratulations. Perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Of course, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. Where's my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something really red, really. Now, where were we? The witness has given us the entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well. Witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember something accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might be just the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind partition to her right side. Quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made escape, but again, Angel Star, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? Strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. That isn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is kind of a snake. Don't bother with details unless you want to get bitten. Oh, that's not a self. Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an old drum. An old drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. Leopard woman. Rawr. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. Apprehending the suspect. After a murder, suspect attempted to run behind a partition to her side. I quickly caught her, explained it right to her, and arrested her on the spot. No, you didn't. Look at this. How did you manage to go through the fucking grate? How did you manage to do that, huh? How? There's no way to go in. So, let me show her this. This evidence clearly reveals the contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. Exactly. What? But how? How could she catch up to her if she was on the B side? Okay, this game is weird. Wasn't she took the photo from B? So how would she make it back to A and catch her next to the telephone? Which, okay, fine. This is weird again. Maybe I can press her on that. Okay, press. You said quickly, were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details? Press her. I'd like to see this on the floor plans just to be safe. Land car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in the B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? You would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Not correct, Mrs. Starr. Yes, that's right. There was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the cuff-up queen launched the athlete, indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence. But she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 1 feet high too. Why did Mrs. Kite not get away? Can I present the evidence now? Or maybe this one. Muffler. You mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you that my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard was say the word muffler. Is that one word? So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking to her phone. Her phone? She can't mean. Ask further. What phone do you mean the cell phone? Discovered at the crime scene. Yes, ultimately. In memory. It's like a salmon. Heading upstream, you see? No, the court doesn't see, Mrs. Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. How could she see that, though? She cannot see it from that spot. That was out of order. So she used her cell phone? Indeed. The emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? Should of course add this to your testimony. Thinks I do it to please his rookie defense attorney. Okay, the word muffler was overheard during a call made to Emma at 5:18. But she didn't make any calls apparently. Now she did? Well, I can still press this part. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? I was going to ask the same thing. Let's say this one time, so listen so close. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own phone out of her pocket. During that time, he climbed over the chain link fence. Then they boldly grabbed her arm. Chief prosecutor hung her up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? Chief prosecutor made the escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Okay. But let's present the parking lot plans, I think. Found the phone next to the car, not next to the A spot. Let me just present it once. If it's failing, I'm gonna try something else. Mrs. Starr, I have to conclude that you have personal grudge against Mrs. Lana Skye. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You, who together with the chief prosecutor kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Mrs. Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it up all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Mrs. Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the backside of this partition. If indeed you were in the B block, you couldn't have seen it. Whoa! Order! Order! What is the meaning of this? Simply, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. Grrr. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me to question? Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about where she saw it. She had a photo of there. Okay. She definitely lied about what she saw. If not, she lied about where she saw it. And if not, definitely where she saw it. Mrs. Light tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Mrs. Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. But say the witness did actually see Mrs. Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean Mrs. Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. Different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I've ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points into one direction. The place from where Mrs. Starr witnessed the crime. I mean, definitely not on the B side. The only way she could see it is either she was in this area, then she couldn't witness that. So the only other way she could be is the security room. This is the only place where she could have been. Security guard room? Indeed, the security room is underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor so you can see entire lot. Should have been able to see emergency phone from there. Why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. Witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in an A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Mrs. Starr. How many years have I been getting the better of men? I think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has got to the better of Angel Starr. Order, order! Witness, what have you done? You used to be a detective, you should know better. I'm not turning back. Guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. Guilty? Is she talking about Mrs. Guy? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Mrs. Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. She could have just said she saw the crime from security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells it all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, then they are guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without good reason. So tell us, her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Mr. Starr witnessed the crime for the security guard station. She lied and said she saw it from the B block. Must be a vital difference, but what? What would it change? Well, she couldn't see face, angle of view to the crime. Why, the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, security guard station is on the second floor, and she would have sort of a more 3D view. And this is important. Why? Perhaps you'd like to reconsider. No, she wouldn't see it because she would be... Mr. Wright, let's review. Okay, never mind. What is the crime from security guard station? Right. The distance is about the same. According to lighting? Is there a difference in lighting? No. Distance to the crime, I guess. But it took longer to reach the suspect, I guess. Let's try that. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. Condolences, Mr. Wright. But one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the car station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it will take her to reach the scene of the crime. Ah. Mrs. Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Mrs. Sky? Well, witness, you. Yes? You ordered squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunch has gone from low to inedible. Let's bring in PB&G lunch with a fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the Glasswood station. Okay. And before I knew it, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in B block. It's quite a detour. Probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that wound over there the defendant shared who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do you have any evidence to stop this? Yes, raise an objection. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. A good lunchbox is a Thai pasta in the nuts, rookie. 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I would flee the scene. You get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. You have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Mrs. Kai dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah! Well then, it seems we come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant, and a blank in their testimony. Okay. Mr. Edgeworth, it's the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated the witness on account of her professional history. We did it. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid that the Cup Queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Okay, this was a long one. Hold it! Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. Prefer not to take defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. A decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of their trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Mrs. Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of the deterrence to the witness' determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now... to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I bring it up? Two types of blood were found on his shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. The other blood type matched that of the defendant, Mrs. Lana Sky. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There's blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all of your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I already said. I don't trust you with your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Did I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. For sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensic department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Nah. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty solemn. At least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution complaints notwithstanding. It appears that the evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that you guilty are properly judged. Okay, white enamel shoe bears traces of blood from Godman and Lana Sky. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Okay. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes. Okay, and now the matter of victim's shoe. 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. The other blood type matched that of the defendant. This shoe proves it is full as decisive evidence. You can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Huh. Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some, like your client, she's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? Problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? That's a problem. I'm not imagining things. I would say there is one critical problem with this evidence. Clear contradiction. That gleam in her eyes. You're still young, you rookie. I'll give you a peppered fish gut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is the conjecture about this victim's shoe? What's the problem with this evidence? Well, this blood is probably Lana's. This blood is the victim's. She stepped on top of his body, or the blood on the ground, so that's why it's the victim. Percent. The problem with this evidence is here. Where? Take that finger and point it at your own head, Mr. Wright. Yes, that wasn't it. Mr. Wright, let's be scientific about this. Examine the evidence. As I thought, a waste of time. Well, that was a nice break. Let's return to the testimony, shall we? I need to save this. I need to save this. I don't want to repeat the 1 hour of trial for no reason. I didn't select the right place. Let's press again. I can let this evidence go without a fight. No. There's the problem. I spammed too much. Okay, I'll do it again. There's the problem. The problem is the blood on the bottom. I wonder if you noticed. There's a blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. It will be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. Makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom shoe? Well, obviously, the fact that she was wearing black shoes. At least according to this fucking picture. Present. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. And isn't it strange? Why weren't there any bloody footprints found on the scene of the crime? Why did the picture have black shoes if she has white shoes? I didn't even think of this possibility. As you can see, there were no traces of any footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. And where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, what is witness? What? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. Then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Mr. Wright, think. I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint of the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, and she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Roar! Oh, that was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Oh, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Huh? Oh, that, Not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, apparently you are in the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, the oil drum empty. The oil drum, kicked over by the chief prosecutor, was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Ah, you don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains will become evidence against her. Oh! That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes left her quite clearly to his murder. And after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the tailgate signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Mrs. Kite's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she would cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on her shoe? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please. What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But... Enough. There is no need to further debate the verdict, Your Honor. Very well. Angel Star is on the prosecution side. It could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Lana Sky. Objection! Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say Angel Star was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well... Thought you had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. But wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else. Time for deliberations is past. If further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. The threats don't scare me, the gaff-up queen. Look at this. Photograph. Oh, it was a bloody shoe of the victim. Not the defendant. I didn't just in case anyone had the gall to just. The white shoe didn't belong to the victim. Of course it didn't. She had black shoes. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait. Look at the asphalt in the photo. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court mind. Immediately after murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. Yes, I couldn't help after all. Not your fault. I knew I wouldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted to know, anyway. Sorry, Mia. Right, whether or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Huh? Get yourself up from the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well, this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Your Honor, wait. What is it, you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. And it will be too late. Look at this photograph, last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. Alright. Are you saying there's a problem with the latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think it later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. Well, since we've come this far, I should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court problem in this photograph. What's this? Why is it leaking? I don't know. Oh, muffler. As in... Ah, yeah, definitely this. The problem is in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of a car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor? You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf or any in this photograph. Muffler is also part of a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's a suspicious looking cloth sticking out of the muffler? So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Sorry, Mrs. Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us what is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case. He called about muffler 518. Present. Mrs. Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Ah, yeah. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? So, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh. Ew. Ah. Well, it seems we'll have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I was wondering about that piece of cloth. To leave any question unanswered, we do a disservice to the law. Take the car of the crime scene, inspect it at once, and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? Suppose so. Okay. Ooh. That was close. But we made it, at least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. You still hungry? Okay. Save. This was a really long one, like hour and 15 for this day. It's still no investigation though. It's still trial later. Mr. Wright? What? Are trials always like this with you? Like you are swimming up from the bottom of a lake about to reach the surface, No matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there? Too much. Except today we were swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell you the truth. Hola, partner. You say you show a red cloth to a bull, you'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was young, at least. Officer Marshall. Oh, I would come take a look and see how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They've got the home range locked down, tighter than a fort in enemy territory. Hard slip out, huh? What is going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have been really on the edge. Don't you get enough on your plate without worrying about your other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have to do anything with scarves. He wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. Now don't that just beat all? Huh? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it that day too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? The award ceremony that afternoon. Edgeworth's seen it too, I reckon. What does that mean? The photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. So Mrs. Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab a bull by the horns. Sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? It's steak sauce. I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Oh, wee. Okay. February 23. We're back in the courtroom. Would like to resume? What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That throat, bro, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubled over, your back is bent. It can't be, this can't happen. What happened, Mr. Edgeworth? Well then, I believe it is time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, we had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable. It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me, knock knock? Huh? Who's there? Fuck is this guy? Strange stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, the temperance rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Who on earth is he? Ah, it's you! Oh, hey. Sorry I'm late, Aji. We're packed. It's just me. Long time no see, eh? Aji, how you been? Swim much these days? Hello. No, I've been busy. Busy. Aji, my boy, you have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Aji seems to be a nickname for the judge. I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. I'm sorry, but who are you? So you're right though, the attorney. I've heard about good things about you, son. Thanks. So sorry about a little Worthy giving you all that trouble, hey? You know, we shouldn't all go swimming together sometime, Jolly. Little Worthy? Mr. Wright? You don't know the district chief of police? Chief of police? The top-ranking police officer in the entire district. Name's Gan, Demon Gan. Pleased to meet you, everyone. To what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, isn't it? Well, it's worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. It's just a thought I'd help out. I bring in this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. Mrs. Starr wasn't just saying things. When the crime occurred, Mrs. Sky really was wearing the muffler. But to think it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. One little Worthy scar, no less. It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What is this? It's what you call a switch-by knife, quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth? How could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? Your investigators are the slags, how do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. No desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Huh. Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of an investigation. There's no mistaking that signature is there. Miles Edgeworth? That's not fair. One day of the crime I had in the clouds because you got that award. I know you feel. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. Let's get a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. Huh. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. The court accepts this new evidence. But I would like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at this blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think if you have to do is push that switch, and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to palm my gavel anymore. If I cut my finger, wouldn't I be pointing at people anymore? Come on, just hurry up and open it. Press that button, I guess? What's this? There's a small tag on this knife. It seems to say SL92. What does that mean? Well, I've heard something similar. DL6. DL6 incident. Fame. It's strange. Oh, what is it? I'm not certain. I get the feeling I've seen this somewhere before. Letters like this, or letters that look like this somehow. We have the paper, right? Let's switch the button and... Let's see. Wow, don't scare me like that. I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. This dark red stain. Blood? Under the crime scene, wrapped in defendant's muffler. Small tag attached. Okay. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us about the split between the prosecutor and the police and this knife? Okay. Sure, think, not a problem. Even a little one, really. Okay. This knife is special, but I can see how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and the Godman. It was a bad day for our department. We weren't in any shape to do any investigation. The detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess. Time of the crime, 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. Okay. There was a murder at police department, detective. The hush information, 𝐒𝐸𝐞𝐜𝐬. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second. You said 5:15. It's the exact same time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order! Order! Anyway, we are the department here, well flustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top-secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? Make me understand the police department situation. Mr. Wright, two detectives killed at the same time in the two different places. The chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I would like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well, however, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. Okay. This knife is special, but I can see how here. Excuse me? Special? Hard to come by this particular knife anywhere else. But that special thing be this little tag? Oh, sorry, Rito, but I can't say that. Not that. Established that the knife of Goodman's chest was this knife. Now, why was there another knife at the scene of the crime? It's quite a mystery. Not like mystery, it's wrapped in something, a muffler. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. This knife was found on the scene of our crime. I think that makes it connected to the case, don't you? See, there's a lot of things that go on the department I can't explain. It's delicate, you know? Sorry, Rido. Maybe there's something about the knife that will give us a clue. Let's examine that knife while we can, Rido. Evidence that links the knife to Detective Goodman. Perhaps the pieces are falling into place. What is this? This is 67S122. Is it similar? It says Goodman on it, so maybe? Is there anything on the backside? No. I should try presenting the piece of evidence that it's messed up at all time this time. Well, how are things down in the department? Okay, let's go back if I can. Let's present the evidence as in this paper. Wait a second. Ah, at last, an honest goodness objection. This knife. This has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Haha, an honest to goodness, what do you mean from 𝐒𝐸𝐿? This is great. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL92. This is important. Why? Over here we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. Oh, it's upside down. SL9, not 6, 7S. It's SL9 if you turn it around. What's this? 6 minus 7S, 12-2? No? No, it's 221. SL9. Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside. The printed name of the memo makes it look like it's right side up. Turn it around and what do you get? 221. SL9. Aha! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. That's the same thing that is written on the knife tag. Order, order! Oh, Chief. Oh well. I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Rido. I win? What game is this guy playing? This knife was evidence in the case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. It was a bad day for... Okay. When was it stolen? so this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder? With evidence, you say? Was it in fact a murder weapon? It's nice. Nice. Good show, little Worthy. It was a murder weapon as it happens. There's evidence from a law case long since solved. But this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. It was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car. I think there isn't a connection there. Okay, who was killed? I need to know who was killed. On the same day, the detective was killed in the cigarettes parking lot. Another detective was killed in the police department. That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Aji? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested? That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto. Suppose I could help, but if you help me by giving me data on your case? Oh, good one. This kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing, and one thing only. Okay, do I care where the victim was found, how the victim was killed, or when the victim died? Well, he was... No, where was he found? Let's go with that. So tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found. I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. Evidence room? Wait a second, I have heard of that. Evidence room. Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now? That was his evidence in the case. It was stolen from the department evidence room. What's the connection in the two cases? You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. This is gonna be so difficult, this case. Okay. Press. Chief, the defense position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven. You don't say. Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. Connection is the place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found in there was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention, the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence pack. We also know that the detective murdered the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Indeed. There do seem to be too many connections for this to be a coincidence. You two make a good pair. It took my man 2 days to find out what you did right here. Chief, requested you release your information to the victim to the police department. See, that's the traffic card. It hasn't been announced yet at all. Can we get the information? Officially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? You would have guessed. I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the department, okay? Press. If you're going to tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Well, I guess it might be as well try to get what I can out of him. Victim's ID number. Try that. Because that would give us who he is, you know. Gender and division is like the whole group. The ID number is just one person. Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Sure, why not? I feel like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all. Keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. Number is 5842189. 5842189. If he was killed there, how is he killed here as well? What? So confused. Well, that's quite long. We have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 82. I can't do it. I didn't even get the first number right. Well, Miss Wright, does this tell you anything? The number of the victim and the police department. This tells me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning? It has to be what I think it is. What does this mean? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you? Yes, present. How was Goodman killed there and there at the same... What? Witness. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. No, it's just... I got confused. This is news? Huh? Just come out with both guns blazing, like you always do. Police department, the prosecutor's office. 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh, is it yours? Oh, Your Honor, I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, righto. Personal IDs are top secret. Detective Goodman's ID number is 5842189. And this means what, exactly? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier, it started with 82. Of course. No, you didn't even get the first number right, again. The number the chief of the police gave us was 5842189. Wait a second, right? What does this mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed under the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh, ho, ho, sharp as a tack, righto, sharp as a tack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department, in the evidence room at the exact same time. That's impossible. What we are saying is, the same person was killed at the same time, in a completely different location? Order, order, order! Chief, what does this mean? No, what I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case. Now just wait a second, Worthy, no need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? Huh. Oversight, the grave error? Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours. What? How? How dare? He informed me yesterday. I believe it was our officer Meekins who brought you the news. Officer Meekins? That's right. Where have you heard that name before? Wait. Ah. Excuse me, but it's Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? Here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. You don't mean him? According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. Your officer, he told me, he said that the report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on the top of the report. Why did your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error. Gross negligence of your duty on your part, Morphe. Sir, you could have just submitted a report this morning to the court. No such luck this time, Morphe, or should I say, unworthy? What? What was the second rule of evidence law? Oh, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, well, it's Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. How is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So, what does this mean? You didn't submit this evidence until the connection was proven in court. Ah, the connection was just proven by Righto over here. Good job, Righto, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job. No. No! Seems we have come to the end of this trial. Now we are going through a tough time, Morphe, with all those rumors. We were even in the defendant's chair just in this past December. Huh. Apologies for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened. It's the last thing I do. Better get results this time. Really. Give my profound apologies, sir. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake, I hope this is not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned. Okay, this one was very quick, not like the other one. Hey. February 23rd, 2:15 p.m. Okay. Right. So, what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused. Huh? Well, let's see. What is going on? The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death at 5:05 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot. In the police department evidence room. What's this? And the evidence room part? The prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car. Well, that's what we are going to find out. Or try to, at least. Alright, let's do it! Glad she's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's going to be much help with this. Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Huh? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go. Science awaits us. February 23rd, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. No, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares? I care. It was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room, no biggie. My sister would never do such a thing, I know it. The old drum. Was it empty? The old drum, kicked over by the prosecutors, was brimming with water. Yeah, I guess we can check if it was empty. Somehow. My sister erasing evidence at the crime scene? Never! Even though she says they don't belong, Emma really likes her sister. That's not it at all. It's just... we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her. Of course, for a high school student. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that old drum washed it away. Ignore the strength of my science at your word peril, Mr. Wright. Huh? What's that grin for? This situation calls for one thing, and that is... luminal testing fluid. Luminal? Not the sticky stuff, you know? You can just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can see it, it's still there. But wouldn't the police have already done those tests? Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Let's give it a try. Me? Why do I have to do it? I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet. Testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it. Here, look, I'll lend you these glasses. Huh? You get an extra pair of those things? Ooh. This for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Just enter the spray on. Okay, let's find out some bloodstains. Okay, found some. You can see her eyes shining behind those glasses. There's this bloodstain. It's so, no, you are shaken. It's just, this is my first time seeing the real blood. Scientific investigation in action. Okay, well, we definitely know this is a bloodstain. Doesn't something strike you as odd, scientifically speaking, of course? What's so odd about this, scientifically? The amount of blood, there's not a lot of blood. Shouldn't it, like, splatter everywhere if he got stabbed? Perpetrator and detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there would be a little more blood? Definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe. It's pretty strange. They fought here. There would have to have been more blood than this. Hey, Mr. Wright. Put on more capital floor plans when we find bloodstains, okay? Cool. See, I'm pretty handy to have around, see, right? Yeah, and this stuff is pretty handy too. I have my allowance to buy that. Nominal testing fluid received from one very proud looking Emma Sky. Okay. You can be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case. Let's drag the hidden evidence out in the light of day. Yeah. Feels like we're investigating a crime now. Okay. Let's go. Guess you should give this a spray on anything suspicious. Ah. I wonder how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Mrs. Starr? Only trust your own very eyes, Not bad, you two. This day-old deli box. It's on the house. Or it's just kind of lead that doesn't really get my mouth watering. Let's talk to her about today's trial. You certainly put me on a tight spot today. Apologies, Mr. Starbot. Oh no, it's okay. It's my fault. We know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. What's wrong to think that? I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand. That's forgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. So Chief Prosecutor Sky stabbed a man in cold blood. That testimony still stands. Ah. Swear to my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman. Ah. I know this photograph is something important to tell us, but what? Detective Star. So, you were a detective, weren't you, Mrs. Star? Yes, I was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know? It may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be angel too. Couldn't doubt it. Today I dragged the dirt out of the mouth of the suspect after suspect. Before long, they called me. Cough up, Queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches. You were let go? Fired? So that I found myself dream job when I became investigator. Like this prime? Yeah, let's just said that, so we'll just read it up. It's all because of that case. SL9 incident. SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean... Okay. It showed SL9. Wait, can I show it to her? Present? Still not. Present. What do you think about this? Still 9 incident. Written that knife. On that note, Goodman. Goodman was the head detective in that case, you know? Really? That knife was evidence from that case, the murder weapon. It was due for transfer the very day that Goodman was killed. As suspected, SL9 isn't over. Not yet. You think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident? What about the... This was also part of it, right? Present. One of those up until 2 years ago. When you were a Kappa Queen, right? I found this ID card here in this parking lot. Well, there's no mistaking that. Definitely Goodman's. But... the same ID the man who was killed at the police department. That's impossible. Wish I could be so sure. Okay. And the crime photo. Yes. If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even an eye can faster sometimes. So you went straight to the scene of the crime? Rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime. Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. All in my testimonies that were. 5 minutes were the problem, Mrs. Starr. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl. My testimony disregarded before. And I wasn't going to have to disregard it again. Just like that time. That time? You mean the SL9? That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. You're nothing to them. Disposable. Okay. Disposable to who? 2 years ago, it was the biggest case I've ever handled. Police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Executed? The criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was, they never did find decisive evidence, not a shred. What? The criminal was executed, right? On the basis of evidence that was stored. Made up evidence. What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolman, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those? Myself and one other person you know well. It couldn't be... Exactly, Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean Police Department, Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. Okay, what about him? Professional detectives investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. Then it was over. And he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I. But you haven't forgotten SL9? There's another side to that case. A hidden side. That's what we are after now. No one's up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait. Those lunches you sell... There's only one reason come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I'm here to meet old friends, boyfriends that can help me investigate. She stars all boyfriends. How many does she have anyway? When all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, Rookie, what? It seems you are serious about investigating this case. Yes? Then you should take this. The Salisbury steak lunch. I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Big lunch received. Okay. Mr. Starr? Mr. Marshall, is he your, are you going out? What do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago, when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister. It made me jealous. And he was nice to me too, back then. Would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. Putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. Thank you. Professor Jake Marshall. Okay. Guess that's it, right? Let's move this police department. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. Detectives are running around so fast they're blurring. Supposed to make sense. The detective did get killed here after all. The evidence room. The scene of the crime. According to the power plant, we got the front desk. There it is. She's like a kid at an amusement park. Or a real crime scene. Let's go take a look. Okay, let's go in. Okay. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric. According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room. So beyond that door is the evidence room, the scene of the crime. Sure seems that way. Oh! What's wrong? It's those stacked cacti. They are so prickly, so imposing. It's hard to think straight. I can't handle the cacti. They have the desert. What I want to know is, what is that guard station? Where is the guard? I don't know. I have a feeling that I know where he is already. Okay, can I go through that door? The evidence room is beyond that door. Let's just walk in. It won't open. Thought it'd be open? I think we'd need someone's permission to go in there first. Okay, let's find someone. Maybe we can talk to someone? Police 23 department. Okay, this is place charged with fantastic energy as always. Please, huh? Wasn't that? Let's take lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐜𝐬? There's no time for chit chat. I'm a busy man. I really need a steak lunch for lunchland. Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. There's no time for despair. What a criminal. I would just need evidence. Criminal? You mean... You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal? The same... Yeah, I heard about this. You don't need to... We just saw it. It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy. Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐬, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know I need is steak lunch. Pronto. Running around here talking isn't going to fill my belly. Okay. Wait, don't leave. I want to know more. Head down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Later. Run out of the evidence room. Well, this is investigating. It's off to a running start. Let's move to the detention center. Guess we need to go through our office. Still, I do feel better about things a little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed the Detective Goodman, didn't they? Yeah, I guess they did. Let's not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing. What was that? Sure, that's what I'm saying. Me, a perpetrator? Let's say I was the perpetrator again, sir. That's what I would say. Hi. Greetings, sir. Wait, I know who you are. Excuse me, but Mr. Edward, anyone on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Mr. Mickens, so you're a guard here at the detention center? No, sir. I'm not, sir. A little lost patrolman. Like a little lost lamb, sir. Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report? No, sir. How should I say this? Wait, he isn't, is he? You, Officer Meekins? You didn't, did you? Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir. What? What? Now this is an unexpected turn of events. Of the crime. Sir, I'm patrolman with the General Affairs, sir. Oh, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, and I went to the evidence room, sir. The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir. Normally there's a guard at the evidence room. That's right, sir. Because the evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Oh, the security officer. None other than Officer Marshall. Sir. Marshall? And sir, I happened to glance at a security room monitor, sir. That's when I saw him, sir. Suspicious person in the evidence room, sir. Suspicious person, sir. Suspicious person? Sir? Yo, whoa, 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 whoa. What the heck is this guy doing? What happened then? After that, sir, everything went white. I saw red. I blocked out, sir. When I came to, I was here, in the detention center, sir. How long were you out, Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand? Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. Bandage on his hand? Just like Mrs. Kai. And another similarity between the case and the other one at the prosecutor's office. First thing first, tell us how you hurt your hand. Okay, the victim? I don't mean to pry, but you're the perpetrator, correct? Still Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir, please don't look at me with the sad puppy dog eyes, sir. You have to label me as perpetrator or victim, sir. Label me victim. Would be, but you happen to be in detention and alive and well at that, sir. Yes. Yes, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Do you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Oh, sir, if I had to label him a stranger or a total stranger, then I would say he leans heavily to the total stranger side, sir. Oh, you didn't know him. Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light of other creation or comfort, sir. I don't know any detective, sir. So, if it was a total stranger, why did you stab him? Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir. None. And nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir. Someone around here is more confused than I am. You shan't. About your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir, I asked, anything you should just confess? But sir, there was nothing I could do, sir. Nothing you could do? Sir, to tell you the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed a knife at me, I just hollered, sir. The next thing I knew, I was unconscious, sir. The next thing you knew, you were, huh? And when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone, sir. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared, sir. What? Then when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hand, sir. Oh, the shock. Oh, the sorrow, sir. Can you imagine how I felt, sir? The victim's body disappeared? That's some story. Okay. Let's present the Goodman's ID. Do you think you could take a look at this? Hey. That's it, sir. That's it. It's what? My head was a blank until this very moment. But sir, now I remember. I remember, sir. I mean, you remember what happened? Correct. That card was the cause of all of it all. This ID card? Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir. Nothing. Better pry into this one a little deeper. Do we have anything more that could... Maybe the... autopsy report? Officer Meekins, could you take a look at this? I'm sorry, sir, real sorry, but I have no idea what that is. Maybe you should ask Miss Edgeworth, sir. Passing the buck, okay. Maybe you can talk to more about him now? No details, okay. Can you tell me what it is you remember? Well, sir, you might say I'm a lost little patrolman, lost little lamb, if you will. Sir? I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. That's why I thought he looked suspicious. Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card, sir. Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far. That's right, sir. That's why I've been trying to tell you. You asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. What? Sir, I assure you I was the faster as you are right now. They hooked and leapt at him. The good man pointed a knife at him. Do unto the others before they do unto you. My own father's word, sir. What happened then? Well, why, sir? Everything went right. When I awoke, I was here. Right. Reason for arrest. So, Officer Meekins, why was that they arrested you? What do you mean, Emma? Let's look at what we know. Officer Meekins didn't know that Detective Goodman, the victim who they met at the scene of the crime, didn't show his ID card. In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim was really the victim. If his body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir. That's what I wanted to say. Yes, I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up here? He told me that it had to be him, sir. That day, at that time, Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what he said. But you don't remember the events clearly? No, on the videotape, it's quite clear, sir. Huh? Videotape? On the security camera, sir. My crime, the crime, swore to stamp out. There, it's me, it's on tape. Hmm. You waiting until now to tell us this? I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I deserve it. Oh, thanks. I have my own. Guess we'd better get and check out the crime scene. Okay. Guess we're moving back to the... here? Police station. Criminal affairs. Hey, Mr. Wright. Look who's standing at the chief of the detective's desk. It's Police Chief Gaunt. Okay. You sure this is all, You know what it means if there's anything missing? Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. I checked all of these drawers. Lockers, garbage, under his search cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. See, well, if anything does turn up, call me right away, deal? Yes, sir. I'll score the place again, sir. Chief of Detectives looks like a little flustered. Ah, righto, my boy. How have you been? Swim much? Oh, Chief Gant. Reporting for duty, sir. Are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? Okay, let's talk to him. Edgeworth. Is Edgeworth going to be okay? Oh, Worthy? You know, they are doing a little inquiry committee with him. Sounded like an inquisition. Yep, well, they had no end of trouble with the boys since last year. I mean, the incident on Guard Lake doesn't look good having top prosecutors sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case, right, Righto? On karma. Legend he was undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court he fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence. Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is this bit of a turmoil, you might say. Why, they would just do about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy. What? Okay, evidence from incident. It's downright odd, I tell you. Detective getting killed on their turf, too, I mean. Being the prosecutors, I assume? Scientifically speaking, it's impossible. Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Man was stabbed in the two locations at the same time. That's what it says. What evidence is this? Oh no, Righto, I can't give away all of our secrets just like that. And in this particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it. I'm not expecting much anyway. You know one thing, I hate most of all of his hiding stuff. Secrets, can't stand them. You know, it's a full-time job, keeping the chief of detectives trapped shut. Ah, he was one of those you were picking on earlier. Huh? Know that. Hips. I don't know what it was that he wanted the chief of detectives to do. Let's see if we can find this, let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him. sorry you had to see that. What exactly did the chief of police want you to do? Well, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. You can weigh every piece of garbage in the trash can. So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is here? Of course not. Well, except for this. What? You kept something? Sure, why not? It's not even important, he didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete. A lost item? Detective Goodman lost something. You know, this is February 21, I better make a note of that just in case. Goodman's... Okay. I should really get back to investigate the police department crime scene. Can I present that evidence to him? He didn't know about it. I'm wondering, could you take a look at this? Oh, sorry, Rido. True with that stuff. True, I say. I'll find that guy who can't seem to sit still out here. The busy one. The guy who can sit still? Does he mean Detective Gumshoe? Either him or the Dancing Blue Badger. Okay. Let's talk. Permission to enter. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought the day would come when Wright asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. No, Righto. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't need to investigate after all. Please, do I look like a selfish man? Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50, I would give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate a room to your heart content. Knock yourself out. Just to show, you never know until you ask. For you here, you can borrow this. Hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it? That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir, it's an honor. You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. Okay. It looks pretty cool on my label, doesn't it? Let's think. A real ID. You seem happy. Yes, sir, because... Sir, we get to go into the evidence room now, sir. I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. Okay, let's move towards the department office. Then we can go to the guard station. We should be able to move there now that we have the scanner. The evidence room is beyond that door. We have the ID card from the chief grant. Let's just walk in. It won't open. Aha! The card reader is turned off, see? What is that security guard thinking? Howdy, partners. Well, what's made my Bambina skies so grey? Officer Marshall, why does it have to be him? What's with that? Why does it have to be him look for you? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. You're here to investigate the crime scene. Hee-ho, that card you got there on your chest. It's better than the sheriff's badge of these parts. Yee-haw? Well, what are you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. The crime scene's waiting. Looks like the card reader's gone again. We are here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with your hombres. You are busy, then? Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. What if we gave you the lunch? That smell. Ah, reminds me of Texas. Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? Oh, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this for my baby? Yeah, Mrs. Starr. What's this? What's wrong? Well, let's take lunch. See, I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. Take lunch given to Officer Marshall. Okay. Alright, Bambina, you win. Ask much anything, much smack. Well, it seems like he's willing to talk. Okay. Guard station. Mr. Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right? You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job. I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us. Ah, that poor little doggy. Good guy, I keep getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly. He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. Since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago. Well, it might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know? So, what were you doing around 5:50 when the murder took place? Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy. Well, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy. There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place. I mean, the security camera system. I don't take the machines much. Not like that stewed broccoli they sneaked in the next to your steak, you know? Okay, Marshall? What about that? Mrs. Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago. It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime. That's all gone now, like a drunken hall. Prayer fire. You're still investigating the SL9 incident with the sister, aren't you? That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it. What kind of case was it anyway? We've heard the name so many times, but no one tells us what actually happened. There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago. 2 days ago? The day of our case. That's right. Evidence transfers. Edgeworth was taken about the transfers too. Security system. I know what maybe 2 of the machines in here do. Only 2 of them? Must be a dozen. Like I said, Mambina, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steaks. Easiest ones to understand are the security cameras. Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned. If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours. Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on those tapes? I reckon they might be. You're the security guard and you reckon? One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card. That's the card reader by the door. The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through. Okay. So this is the ID card record. Hey, I've seen that somewhere before. Amina, I can show you more than that. I haven't heard whether this related to the case yet. Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen the number before. Maybe there's some way I can prove that record is tied to the stabbing. Okay. So this is the Goodman's ID. What's the ID on my card? Cannot check it. Okay. I don't have that information. What about the transferal? Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing is about? We keep only evidence for solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years, so we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, see? What happens to the evidence after 2 years? It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault. The county's sheriff department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February. See now. Transferal is like funeral for all cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever, dead. Never to be reopened again, never to be reinvestigated. That happened to SL9 2 days ago. Okay. Let's show the ID, maybe he can compare it. See this? This is the victim's ID card. Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot. Number on this is 584-2189. Mr. Marshall, show us the ID record again. It's there. Look at the fourth number. It's a perfect match. It was used at 5:14 p.m., right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of the cars in the world. When the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. Wait, what did Officer Meekin say? Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card. You asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? It's the thing, suddenly pointed a knife at me. He had his ID card then. Why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? Right, comrade, you win. I guess I can give you this ID card record. Okay. I've got an idea. Maybe I shouldn't show this list to other people with the IDs here. Maybe not. Okay. I guess we can now go to the evidence room, right? Quiet. Investigation must be over here. So this is the evidence room. It's really kind of like a graveyard. Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue. Let's try, Mr. Wright. You can scare me. Huh? Hey. Whoa. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts in the head, pal. It's true, what I heard? Hey, please, do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asks me, okay. Go ahead, investigate that room. Yeah, it's true. Our chief of police Gant will loan anyone $50, even me? Oh, so that's what you were talking about. Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Okay, that's for today. That's for a day. But guess what? You got permission from the chief, so now you're both for a day. Gee, thanks. First of all, we'll want to have this. Evidence room floor plans. Okay. Let me have a look at that. Okay, never mind. Talk. What's for the day? So, Detective Gumshoe, you're both for the day? That's right. It's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here, in the police department. But if you're a boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? They are using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation again. I'm adamant, though. I'm going to take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here, too, Detective Gumshoe? Of course. I'm a detective, after all. You gave me a locker that only I can open, pal. Only you can open. Hey, Edgeworth? I always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens. So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee now, right? They are trying to figure out who's responsible for the messing up the court today. See. Guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. It was the beginning of the end of Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. Evidence lockers. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it. Using their ID card? Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. I am on my third card since entering the force already. Sounds like a lot. Yeah, but even I can lose my own right hand. Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint? Hey, pal. The lock for each locker is coded with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open is our own. Funny, they look like normal lockers. These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see? Handles? On the other side of the handles is a sensor. If the wrong person touches it, you get a shock. If that's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There aren't even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Okay. Interesting. Let's present him with the knife. Maybe he can tell me more about the SL9. Detective Goodman's note. The switchblade knife. That Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone because of the SL9 connection. It was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know. 2 years ago. It was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was meant to be feared. Why would evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there's some loose ends left in that case. Okay. I talk to him about the incident. I thought it was a bloody violent case. Violent? So it was a murder. Serial killing. Serial killing. Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake, and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him. This was 2 years ago. Put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight. Started the rumor mill. Rumors about forged evidence? It was supposed to be all cleared up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. Huh? What do you mean? Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see? Also, that switchblade knife. The detective took this knife out of the evidence locker himself? Okay. What about... What can we do? Maybe the record? The IDs? And... Could you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of the people who came here on the day of the stabbing. Oh, I heard the rumors. It was Goodman who came in here at the time of the murder. Whoa! What is it? That second number? Your Andy number is it Detective 𝐒𝐲𝐬. Mr. Edgeworth. What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. What? What? Okay. Something to think about. Why would Edgeworth have to come to evidence room? Okay, let's examine this place. Okay, this was open just a second ago. Why is it closed now? What's this? Blood! It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint there. Looks like someone tried to wipe it off. That's right, what if there are other bloodstains left in the room? We should use the testing fluid to check it out. Okay. Examine this. Oh, left a glove here, but only one. Cell 9, 11. 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐜𝐬 maybe? There you go, pal, making me out and become some kind of absent-minded detective. It's evidence from this case, you know? I mean, SL9, it does have a tag on it. Rubber glove added to the court record. Okay. Guess let's check it out, like, in my inventory. The tag says SL911. I guess this is another piece of evidence from that case. You know, I never did care for the word tag. It's confusing. Yeah, what's so confusing about that? You know how many other words sound like it? Bag, gag, nag, lag, sag. Tag? Is that a word? You challenge me? What? Are we playing a word game now? Okay. see, examine something else. What's this? Wow, someone must have broken something to make all of these pieces. 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐜𝐬, perhaps? There you go, pal. Making me to be some kind of hooligan. It's apparently from this case. Case? SL9 incident, pal. Need a sticker on one of those pieces there? Another piece of SL9 evidence. Take a closer look. I wonder what shape these pieces were in before whatever it was broke. You want to try to put it back together? Huh, good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. I spent a good hours in there before I had to give up. That's why I always carry around a tube of glue. Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest into place. Okay, so it's some kind of key thingy. This looks similar. Yep. Could it be that? No, it doesn't have like the teeth. This one, no. Oh, the teeth on the bottom, maybe? Wait, no, if I rotate it like this. Wait, not like this. Then like this. Like this. Got it. Next piece. Could be this one. From what angle? This one. Okay. The first one fits perfectly. So put it in. Okay. And we need something that's gonna fit over there. What if I turn it like this? Yeah. Got that. And I'm guessing this one like that. The other way? It's not this one. Okay, in that case, that one. Cool. And it's this one. And the last one. One piece is missing. Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it. There's some pieces stolen. They were missing the best to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar. I don't understand how it got broken. Stable jar added to the code record. Okay. I guess, how do you use the luminal fluid thingy? It's not examining. I guess I need to record and find the luminal. Oh, here. Okay. Yeah, spray. Let's spray on the paint. There's some blood. That must have been a massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not professional. What's your opinion, detective? Pale blue blood. Detective Goodman. It's actually an alien? This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. Make a note of this on floor plans. If you didn't want the opinion, then you should have asked. Okay. knew it. This is someone's right handprint. What? What's the matter, detective? This locker is mine. It's yours. Please, you have to help me when they come take me away. I promise will testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, Vels? It's an important clue. I'll jot it down to the floor plans. Counting on you guys, believe me, you can trust the police. What? But you're a detective. Okay. What if we go to the left? Okay, there's something there. Wanna check the other ones. Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to be touched the spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, Paul. What's this? It's called luminal testing fluid. Where did you get hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. Just borrow 50 bucks from the chief. Where did you get this, Emma? Who would buy them with the nail order? Well, I would better jot this down for the floor plans. Well, look at the time. Is there something you need to do? The Mr. Edgeworth Inquiry Committee should be letting out soon. I'm going to give them my report of the day. It might help, you know? Report? You need a note written on the back of that flyer? One that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. Even him. He needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐚𝐥𝐬. I'm off, pal. Later. Should probably see what Edgeworth has to say too. I guess there's nothing more for me to do. Okay. Let's go to Edgeworth then. Okay. How was that guy from the another piece? Oh, it's you! Have we met somewhere? Huh? Edgeworth, I beg you'll leave so long. Edgeworth here? They're standing by the window, a teacup in his hands. Right. Yes, the hotel bringing him tea service. Mr. Edgeworth, you are back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry? I am. By the way, Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐚𝐥𝐬 was looking for you. Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth, I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him. Let's talk to him about the inquiry. So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not the case, concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Concealing evidence? So apparently there are some people who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again? I've heard him say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. Tomorrow's trial. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still presiding the prosecuting attorney. However, what happened? He gave me control of the investigation over to the police department. Police department? Yes. Any further investigation for this case will be directed by the chief of police, 𝐒𝐤𝐚𝐥𝐬. I can do nothing but wait for his results. Gee, why, I ask you why. All along, I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still, wow, I've never seen him out of sorts. Okay, let's show him the fact that he was in the crime scene. At the same time, it's Bruce Goodman. Alright, I better check this now. So I was saying, what's this? Record of ID card usage? Sure. You wanted the evidence from that day, didn't you? Before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go. Chief can't no less. Chief of police? He wanted the evidence for a case that wrapped up a half a year ago. He told me that he wanted to keep it here for the prosecutor's office. But it was solved, right? It would have to be if the evidence was already filed. The chief is never the one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of stabbings, I brought this back here. Can I ask what kind of case it was? I can say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. I'm curious about this other case. I better make a note of it. Okay. Is this also connected? Stubborn as always. I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. What about the knife? Can you tell me about the SL9? About that afterwards? I know you. You've probably got a hold of some information already, right? It all has to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident. Hey Dylan, thanks for the lurk. And some dark suspicion you're wrapped up in. You're the man who revived the worst enemy of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. Okay. He must be talking about his father murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why didn't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. Let's talk to him about the allegations of forgery. SL9 incident was a heinous serial killer case. Head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐜𝐬. That wacky old kid was involved in the case 2 years ago too then. He was top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you getting nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why was the deputy chief of police on the investigation? Proof, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We're dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't? Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, we do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. My sister? What? You are still studying forensic science. Huh? Yes, of course. Why, just today Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminol testing fluid, Well then, you might have use for this. Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints? Been chemically treated for battle adhesion. For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know? No say in today's investigation, do as you will. Edgeworth, really no need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective 𝐒𝐞𝐬 as well? Okay, fingerprint set and the fingerprint file received. Well then, let's get going. One last investigation. Right. I just need to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Yep. Can definitely check those out. Okay, let's move back to the evidence room. We can use this department, move to the second floor to the guard station, move inside the evidence room. Our investigator has turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, in the blood on the detective evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Right, let's get started. First, use a finger. Finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. Let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print. I can tell the difference at a glance. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Is this? Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show how it's done. I'm starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. To sprinkle the aluminum powder around. How do you do that? Let's enter. See? It looks like that did the trick. Aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, blow away the excess. Huh? How do I do that? With E. Exciting, I know. Imagine you are blowing out the candles on a birthday cake, see? Wow, that looks like fun. Techniques I'm getting used to though. It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. Just pour the powder on thick and blow away extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. Guess I'd better give it a try. Okay, let's dust it. Put a lot of it on it. Just why not? And then blow the extra. Ah, you did it! You found one. It looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that I mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Okay, calm down. It's just the way it goes sometimes with the scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Looking at the locker door again closely. Oh, there's one more. Seems like there are fingerprints outside the ballot handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print. Fingerprints outside the blood. Here. Okay, now it's good. Now we just blow it off. Now that's a fingerprint. I've ever seen one. Make it very clear now. Yeah, a print so clear it's dazzling. Dazzling. Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. We're not done yet. This is quite a process. Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? Yes, she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth. Point out the person who left these footprints. Huh? How am I supposed to know that? Oh, who it was? Could make a pretty good guess. Body handprint and the fingerprints are different places, right? That means the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. Whose fingerprints would we most likely find on this evidence locker? Well, this is owned by him, 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐜𝐬. Yeah, it's very similar. Person complete. Match found. Aha! So these prints belong to Detective 𝐒𝐻𝐬. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? Give me so what look. Guess that's probably because I was thinking so what. Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. Gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. Examine. This is where I found the luminal fluid reaction, right? Right. There was a handprint there. Okay. Want to try using this? There we go, her eyes sparkling again. For prints. Okay, let's check for prints. This is weird. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? And we ended up finding using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, let's try to find prints that weren't wiped away. Other than the ones left by the bloody hands. So this or that? So where is it? Where would here? This is where the thumb is. So the thumb. And blow it up. First we dust it. I gave it my best shot. The result won't be any good enough for matching prints, will it? It doesn't look like we'll get a clear result from this print. So let's try a different finger then. Let's try this one then. That's the same one. Oh, this one. This one's clear, this one's clear. Okay, this one looks similar. Just rotate it, you know? Try that one. Not good enough. So, Jake Marshall. There. Comparison complete. Nice. Hey, these fingerprints, what are they? Is it someone I know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? Okay. That's interesting. That's got to be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Come on. This is entirely differently from Detective Gumshoe's phrase. Liminal reaction. Blood and the fingerprints are in the same place. Oh. We have the Jake Marshall's fingerprints. On a white bloodstain. Why would Officer Marshall? It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. Oh, I guess this is what you could call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. Okay. Well, I would like to thank you all for watching. This was fun. We still have a lot to do to finally figure out what this case is. I don't think we can end it right now. There's definitely gonna be another investigation. Maybe even 2 investigations. Either way, I would like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.